I'll come to coax you later, he said with reddened eyes. Just give me an apology. Say you're sorry and I'll forgive you, okay? I understood. I immediately stood up, bowed politely to him and said softly, I'm sorry. I didn't know I made you so angry. I was wrong. Su Yang froze abruptly. Do you know what you did? I shook my head. No. Then what the hell are you apologizing for? Because you're angry, and it's because of me. So I'm wrong, I said very seriously, not joking. When I was reborn, back in my first semester of senior year in high school, that year I was he who focused solely on studying. So, at that time, I didn't know yet that there was a school bully in our school whom no one dared to provoke, someone who fought fiercely and had a terrible temper. His name was Su Yang, and he would later become my direct superior. No matter how much time passed, even now, I still couldn't understand why Su Yang saved me. He should have hated me otherwise. Why would he have bullied me so much after I became his assistant? Always dissatisfied with what I did, practically making things difficult for me. But he saved me. That was a fact. Under the ruins, I survived in his arms. I owed him my life. He should have been admired by everyone. He should have lived a good life. But his life stopped at 27 years old. I felt I had to repay his kindness. This life was too heavy, weighing on me for most of my life. The longer I lived, the more unsettled I felt. It shouldn't have been like this. So much so that later, until the day I died, I was still thinking about him. Day and night, throughout my life. So when my dad called me to wake up with a stern face, I was stunned for a long time. I had actually been reborn. It must have been heaven seeing how deep my obsession was, giving me a chance to repay his kindness. Looking at my dad's deliberately stern face, my eyes reddened. His voice was still as harsh and ungentle as I remembered. But I knew he loved me deeply. In my previous life, when I was trapped under the ruins and before rescuers arrived, my dad, ignoring all objections, insisted on staying in the dangerous area where aftershocks were still possible, digging with his bare hands for a long time. That usually stern man, with reddened eyes, cried and dug until his hands bled, never stopping. Being able to see them again was truly wonderful, because I had been alone for too long. When I stood at the school gate holding an umbrella, I let out a long sigh and thought, what would the 17-year-old Su Yang be like? Probably still a big shot after all. He would become the chairman of Su Group in the future. I thought of Su Yang's grumpy face again and couldn't help but laugh. No matter how difficult he might be. 17-year-old Su Yang, I'm here to meet you. The rain had been falling since morning without stopping, though it wasn't as heavy as earlier, just a light drizzle. When school ended at noon, I held up my girlish pink umbrella and said to my best friend, Yao Yao, I'm going to find Su Yang. You go eat by yourself. She looked at me with shock, thinking my rebellious phase had arrived a bit suddenly. She wasn't comfortable letting me go alone, so she followed beside me with her massive black umbrella. I do everything very seriously, including walking. Holding my umbrella, listening to the sound of the rain, I slowly searched for Su Yang until I finally stopped at the entrance of an alley. The alley was narrow, its surface uneven from the rain, and inside was a dark crowd of people. From the entrance, I could hear the groans of those being beaten. Though it was called a group fight, it looked more like one-sided violence. A few boys wearing our school uniforms stood lazily around, while 7 or 8 people lay on the ground. In the middle, the most striking young man looked down indifferently at the person beneath his feet, holding a cigarette in one hand and grabbing the person's hair with the other, forcing him to look up. The young man said, It's raining today, and I'm in a terrible mood. You had the nerve to bump into me. The life your mother gave you is precious, you know? As he spoke, he pressed his foot down harder on the person on the ground. My heart trembled again and again. I could see clearly that the young man was Su Yang. My best friend was already scared stiff. Just as she tried to pull me away with trembling hands, I was already walking over with my pink umbrella. Best friend. Su Yang kicked the person on the ground again and again, ignoring his pleas for mercy. Every kick was filled with rage, as if he were venting something. Suddenly he felt the rain falling on his head stop. Looking up, he saw a pink umbrella. I said seriously, Classmate, fighting in the rain can easily lead to a cold. The group of boys standing around Su Yang watched, stunned by my sudden appearance out of nowhere. Su Yang was always in an especially bad mood on rainy days and no one knew why. Today, the rain seemed endless. After the heavy downpour came a fine, continuous drizzle, damp and annoying. Su Yang had been irritable all morning. I stood on my tiptoes to hold the umbrella over his head. The boys around Su Yang tried to pull me away, afraid I'd get hurt, because they knew how terrifying Su Yang could be when he was angry. Just as no one dared to make a sound, Su Yang, who had been seething with anger, instinctively stubbered out his cigarette and casually straightened his loose school uniform. He shifted his body slightly, as if trying to block the person on the ground from my view. Everyone. Whoa, what's going on? Best friend? Su Yang and I locked eyes, but the next moment, Su Yang looked away, his voice filled with impatience. What do you want? Looking at his familiar gaze, I smiled faintly. In my previous life, Su Yang had looked at me the same way the first time we met. That day I wore professional attire. It was my first day on the job. Holding documents, I was pushed into the office. It was said that he was in an especially bad mood that day. The team under him had failed to secure the project he wanted, and he had flown into a rage. Everyone was waiting to see me get scolded and thrown out, eager to watch the show. So I pretended to stay calm, smiled at him, and greeted him. Hello, Chairman Su. I am your new special assistant. I saw clearly that just as he was about to lose his temper, the moment he looked up and saw me, a flash of surprise crossed his eyes. Then he paused and instinctively began adjusting his appearance. At the time, I thought to myself, so he's a boss who cares about his image. But the next moment, the man in front of me said, You? You're my new assistant? His tone carried a hint of mockery. And in this life, in a different place and at a different age, the 17-year-old Su Yang's gaze was exactly the same as that of the 26-year-old Su Yang. I looked up at him. I saw you fighting. Su Yang raised an eyebrow, his tone mocking. Oh, so the good student is trying to police fighting now. Hearing this, I paused for a moment, then smiled, a curve forming on my lips. It really was exactly the same as in my past life. The same sudden hostility. I didn't say anything, just looked at him with a smile in my eyes, as if my gaze held only him. Su Yang lowered his eyes to look at me, suddenly irritably ruffled his own hair, then reached out and cut the back of my head. He bent down, bringing his face close to mine, eye to eye. Either be your perfect little student, or don't mess with me. What? Playing hard to get? Well, I'm not interested in you anymore. Me? Could someone please tell me what happened? I feel like there is some kind of story between me and Su Yang that I don't know about. But right now I don't even know him yet. I kept quiet, biting my lower lip tightly, my eyes fixed on his handsome collarbone as I carefully considered his words. Su Yang chuckled. What? Cat got your tongue? I protested in a small voice. I don't even know what you're talking about. Su Yang's smile turned cold. And fucking think about it properly. With that, he let go of me, stepped to the side, walked past me, and headed out of the alley. The fight ended just like that, abruptly and unexpectedly for everyone. It had started unilaterally by Su Yang, and it ended unilaterally by Su Yang. I stood frozen on the spot. It was only when Su Yang and his group reached the alley entrance that I snapped out of it. I quickly ran over and handed my little pink umbrella to Su Yang. Su Yang glanced at me but didn't take it. We have 2 umbrellas, I said, my tone very serious. Su Yang couldn't help it. He laughed. You want me to use a pink umbrella? Hearing that, I thought it made sense. It was my fault for not considering carefully enough. After thinking for a moment, I said, My classmate's umbrella is black. It's very big. My best friend, who was trying her hardest to hide and minimize her presence nearby. I don't use umbrellas on rainy days. Don't use an umbrella? Why would someone not use an umbrella on a rainy day? Is there something wrong? Is it because you think it's cool? Actually, I was just about to earnestly advise him that the things people their age think are cool can actually lead to illness later in life. A boy nearby interrupted with a laugh. Damn, this is hilarious. Classmate, you don't have to be so serious. Our brother Yang, he doesn't think it's cool. It's just his habit. Su Yang had this habit, but in my past life, He loved it most when I held an umbrella for him. The boy was about to say something else when Su Yang kicked him. "Are we leaving or not?" he asked impatiently. The boy didn't dare utter a single sound and immediately followed Su Yang away. I stood there, murmuring silently, not knowing why he was angry again. He's so fierce. Su Yang's hostility toward me made me reconsider my path to repaying his kindness. So, I didn't go looking for him again for several days. Because right now, it seemed like he somewhat disliked me. For my first monthly exam after being reborn, I turned in a blank paper. Because these questions were too unfamiliar to me now. Of course, it wasn't that I couldn't answer any of them. But since I had always been the school's top student, the more I did, the more mistakes I might make. I was afraid someone might notice something unusual about me. So to avoid revealing any flaws, I just didn't do it at all. Once the exam ended, the whole school knew that I, the top student, had turned in a blank paper. The homeroom teacher called me into the office and asked me sternly why I had turned in a blank paper. I stammered. I thought the test was too simple. I didn't feel like doing it. Hearing this, the teacher actually looked convinced. In the end, she warned me not to let it happen again. A month was enough time for me to catch up on the missed coursework. So, for the second monthly exam, I walked into the last exam room for the first time. This place was almost entirely filled with people who didn't study or care about school. As soon as I entered, the previously noisy exam room fell silent. Many eyes gathered on me. Gritting my teeth, I found my seat and sat down. Second to last? I turned in a blank paper. Am I not last place? Does writing your name earn you 1 point out of sympathy? As soon as I sat down, a boy next to me kicked my stool with his foot. Hey, remember to spread your paper out a bit later. I glanced at him and sat in my seat without responding. He probably thought I was making him lose face. He stood up and kicked my desk away. My stationery fell to the floor with a loud clatter. I'm talking to you. Are you fucking listening? Before he could finish his sentence, he was kicked to the ground. The boy didn't see who did it and shouted angrily. Who the hell kicked me? It's your daddy. Su Yang's voice was cold. The boy who had just started to get up was kicked hard to the ground again. What can I say? It takes a villain to deal with a villain. The young Su Yang was truly handsome. Instantly, my eyes when looking at Su Yang practically sparkled with stars. The boy, seeing it was Su Yang, looked shocked. He couldn't understand why Su Yang, who never took exams, had suddenly shown up for this one. But Brother Yang. Su Yang glanced in my direction, then shifted his gaze to the boy, scanning him up and down as if looking at garbage. Get lost. Don't offend my eyes. The boy didn't dare stay any longer. He got up and scrambled away. I sat in my seat, smiling at Su Yang. Su Yang didn't say anything. He just walked straight over, and under everyone's weird stares, silently moved my desk back into place. When he picked up my stationery and placed it on my desk, I stared at his long fingers in a daze. Aren't you quite capable when dealing with me? Why do you go mute with others? The sarcasm was overwhelming. I didn't speak, just looked up at him. Our eyes met. He awkwardly turned his face away, shoved his hands into his pockets, and said with a threatening tone, Take the exam seriously. Don't let me see you in this exam room again next time. Why? I grabbed the hem of his clothes and asked very seriously. I saw a flash of discomfort in his eyes. Just as I was trying to get a clearer look, I heard his low voice. Seeing you annoys me. Then he turned around and sat behind me, going to sleep. What a prickly kid. I couldn't help but smile and call out to him. Classmate Su Yan. He didn't lift his head, continuing to lie there. But he replied very patiently. Speak. Thank you. The air after the rain was fresh, making me feel a sense of rebirth in all things. It felt very real. Carrying my backpack, holding the straps on both sides with both hands, I walked slowly, step by step, taking each step very seriously. The area around No One High School still hadn't developed much yet, but I knew that in a few years, this place would develop rapidly because of the Sioux group. The small path I was walking on would become a bustling main road. In my previous life, I actually hated walking this path on rainy days because my little white shoes would get muddy. I had once seen the night view of this area from Su Yang's office on the top floor of the Sioux group. At the time, I thought, so this is what the lights of 1,000 homes look like. Su Yang told me that if I walked that road again now, my shoes wouldn't get muddy anymore. Looking at the mud on my little white shoes after being reborn, I fell into a slight daze. To express my gratitude, I decided to bring him breakfast. When I got to his seat, Su Yang hadn't arrived yet. I noticed his desk was incredibly clean. The only book was being used to prop up the leg of the table. In the drawer were a game console and several packs of cigarettes. I didn't recognize the brands, but they definitely weren't cheap. I didn't know Su Yang smoked. In my previous life, he never smoked in front of me. As his assistant, I really didn't know much about him. I looked for a pen to write a sticky note, so he'd know I had been there, but I searched and couldn't find a single pen. So, I had to unzip my Sakura pink backpack, open my pencil case, and take out a pen with a relatively neutral design. Just as I was writing, a shadow fell over my head. Su Yang stood behind me, knocked on the table, then leaned his hands on either side of me. "What do you want?" His warm breath brushed against the top of my head. I didn't dare move. This posture was extremely similar to him holding me in his arms. "Speak." His breath wound through my hair, twisting and turning, tugging at my thoughts. "I came to bring you breakfast." Su Yang glanced at the egg in my hand. His eyes were an endless black. Impossible to read. He didn't speak, just stared fixedly at the egg in my thermal lunchbox. A long time passed, and I couldn't help but speak up. "You don't like it, right? I'm sorry. I'll take it away right now." "Then don't eat it." "Don't take it away." Su Yang suddenly spoke, his voice very low. He took the lunchbox from my hand, sat in his seat, and silently began eating. I had kept the egg in the pink thermal lunchbox the whole way, so it was still warm. He ate very seriously. I left very happily. So I didn't know that Su Yang hadn't even finished 2 eggs before red rashes appeared on his face. But he didn't stop. It turned out he was allergic to eggs. The people around him urged him not to eat them, but Su Yang didn't say anything. He finished the eggs, went to the school clinic, and lay there all afternoon, with the sticky note I wrote tucked in his pocket. He was allergic. I had no idea at all. But in my previous life, when I was his special assistant, I had also brought him eggs. He ate them every time. I couldn't help but wonder, what kind of feelings did Su Yang have when he ate the eggs I gave him in my previous life? I couldn't figure it out. And this time, Su Yang didn't tell me either. So much so that I brought eggs again the next day. The next day, when I went to bring breakfast again, Su Yang was already sitting in his seat, though I didn't know how long he had been there. "Classmate Su Yang." I looked at him happily, my tone full of pleasant surprise. Su Yang looked up. Turbulent emotions swirled in his pitch-black eyes. Curving my lips, I walked towards Su Yang, holding a light green lunchbox and a light pink thermos in my arms. "I didn't expect you to be here, classmate Su Yang. I brought you breakfast." Su Yang looked at me, his expression seemingly indifferent. "Good student. Do you know what you're doing right now?" "I know. I'm bringing you breakfast." Su Yang stared intently. "You're getting involved with a bad student like me." "What kind of bad student?" "The kind who fights, smokes, drinks, doesn't study, does every evil deed. Society's scum." I tilted my head, thinking seriously. Suddenly, Su Yang felt very nervous inside, but he suppressed it forcefully. That is pretty bad. But even bad students need to eat breakfast. You still need to grow. What gives you the right to care about me?" Su Yang's voice was low and slow. I paused for a moment, meeting his gaze. Su Yang's hands, tucked in his pockets, trembled again and again. Suddenly he said without warning, "I don't like eating eggs." His tone carried a stubbornness that was hard to detect. I felt a bit awkward. What to do? I brought eggs again today. I stood motionless in front of him, clutching the lunchbox tighter and tighter in my arms. Su Yang understood. "Still eggs?" I nodded sheepishly, apologizing. "I'm sorry. I didn't know you don't like eggs. I promise I won't bring you eggs again next time. How about you don't eat them today? I'll go buy you something else." As I spoke, I was about to turn around with the lunchbox to buy him breakfast again. Before I could take more than a step, Su Yang reached out and grabbed the strap of my backpack. I turned back to look at him. Su Yang awkwardly turned his face away. It's fine for today. Don't waste it. I smiled brightly, placed the lunchbox and thermos I was holding on Su Yang's desk, and opened them for him. Su Yang looked at the thermos on the desk. It was pink. Is this the thermos you use? My face flushed red. I thought Su Yang was disgusted. I hurriedly explained. I'm sorry. I couldn't find an extra thermos at home, so I had to use mine. But don't worry. I washed it many times. Su Yang's gaze darkened as he looked at the thermos. He replied, Su Yang took the pink lunchbox out of his drawer and handed it to me, saying, Will you come again tomorrow? I will. I took the lunchbox and exclaimed, It's so clean. I saw Su Yang struggling to control the corners of his mouth from turning up. His tone was indifferent. Just washed it casually. I was very satisfied with this. The lunchbox practically gleamed. After speaking, I checked my watch and said softly, I'm leaving. Carrying my backpack, I walked to the door. After thinking for a moment, I turned back again. Classmate Su Yang, my name isn't good student. I have a name. It's you, he. You as in feather. He as in seedling. Don't call me good student next time. After saying that, I left without waiting for Su Yang's reply. Su Yang waited until he could no longer hear my footsteps before looking up toward the door. His gaze deep and intense. Those peach blossom eyes held a stubbornness he could hardly conceal. He peeled the eggshell carefully, occasionally scratching his neck, where some red spots had appeared. But he didn't seem to care. He just sipped the soy milk in small mouthfuls. The light fell on his face. He seemed very careful with that thermos, his eyes even carrying a trace of reverence. Was that reverence? I didn't expect Su Yang to bring the thermos upstairs to me. When he appeared at the door of Class 1 holding the pink thermos, someone gasped, and then the classroom of Class 1 fell so quiet you could hear a pin drop. At that moment, the students of Class 1 had only one question. God, where blew this lord over here? Su Yang suddenly stepped forward, leaving the classroom door, and walking toward the windows along the corridor. Finally, he stopped next to my seat, separated by the window. The Class 1 students gasped again. Was he here to find? My best friend and I were still huddled together chattering about something, completely unaware of the abnormality in the class. A knocking sound came from the window beside me. I looked up and saw his slouching figure through the glass. My eyes curved into crescents. I opened my mouth without making a sound. But Su Yang understood. I was asking him why he was here. Su Yang reached out and opened the window from the outside. He never wore his uniform properly. The button at the collar was undone, revealing his exquisite collarbone, exuding an air of restrained desire. The muscles under his uniform were taut, the lines of his spine fluid. I averted my eyes, hurriedly lowered my head to look at my book, and silently recited the core socialist values. God sin. He's just a child. Su Yang saw me practically burying my head in the desk. Was this ignoring him? He chuckled lowly, with a hint of mischief, and knocked on my desk. Good student. Pretending not to see me? I looked up, meeting his gaze. It's you, he. Su Yang leaned lazily against the windowsill, looking somewhat indolent. I like calling you that. I looked up at him with my small face, feeling somewhat helpless in the face of his domineering, and whispered, Little kid. Su Yang didn't hear clearly. He only knew my soft voice made his heart itch unbearably. What did you say? I said call me whatever you want, as long as you like it. I chickened out in the end. I noticed the rash on Su Yang's neck. I pointed at his neck and silently asked him what happened. Su Yang looked indifferent. Ate something I shouldn't have. Allergic. It's nothing. It'll be gone soon. I pressed for details, and he reluctantly told me it was the eggs. The eggs I gave him made him allergic. I panicked immediately. Why didn't you tell me? His eyes flickered. I only found out after eating them. He said that, and at the time I believed him, thinking that I should never bring him eggs again. Su Yang, did you come up here to see me for something? I asked gently, holding a pen. Su Yang's gaze swept over the pen of pink stitch. When he spoke again, a very faint smile colored his eyes. Came up to take care of something. Stopped by to get you a cup of hot water. As he spoke, he reached the pink thermos in his hand over the windowsill and placed it on my desk. My eyes were dazzled by Su Yang's long fingers, I stared blankly at the thermos on the desk. He actually got me hot water. Su Yang watched me stare at the thermos without speaking, and without any intention to drink. Staring at my dry lips, he suddenly ruffled his hair irritably, suppressing his temper. I washed it. It's not dirty. Hearing that, my heart stirred. Did he think I was disgusted that he had drunk from the cup? Suddenly I felt inexplicably sad. So the 17-year-old Su Yang was this sensitive. But in the future, he would be Su Yang standing at the pinnacle of business. Everyone would have to call him Mr. Su. I felt a pang of heartache. My boss, in his youth, subconsciously thought others would find a cup he drank from dirty. What had he experienced? I glanced at Su Yang. In that moment, I seemed to see through the violent surface of the youth to the vulnerability in his heart. I didn't speak. I just, in front of him, unscrewed the cap, held the thermos with both hands and took a sip. The warm water flowed down my throat. So warm. I smiled at Su Yang. My eyes seemed to have stars in them. Deadly sincere. I was really thirsty. Thank you, classmate Su Yang. The thermos steamed with warmth. Something seemed to prick Su Yang's heart. An uncontrollable tingling itch spread, rippling in layers. It was as if something had been shattered. The corners of Su Yang's mouth lifted. Bring me soy milk again tomorrow. Use this cup, okay? Okay. Leaving now. Study well in class. Got it. Su Yang walked through the 6th-floor corridor. Where I couldn't see him, he raised his hand to cover his chest. His heartbeat was so fast it felt like it would explode. Su Yang cursed under his breath. Damn, this is gonna kill me. His eyes were full of delight. Su Yang and I seemed to have made up like this. He no longer held the initial hostility toward me. I thought I could repay his kindness properly now. But one day an unexpected girl blocked my way off to school. She had neatly braided hair, skin neither dark nor pale, and wore a faded floral-patterned shirt under her school uniform. Her looks weren't outstanding, but not ugly either. She was an ordinary girl. Her name was Chen Shi. She was in the same class as me. But in my past life, I rarely spoke to her, so I almost didn't remember who she was. Is there something, classmate Chen? I asked her politely, making her feel uncomfortable for a moment. Do you know there's a rumor going around school lately about you and Su Yang? I didn't know, so I was a bit confused. What rumor? That you and Su Yang are in a puppy love? Puppy love? I've never been good at explaining. I just stood there. My face instantly flushed red. Chun-Shi asked again. Do you like Su Yang? Like Su Yang? How could I like Su Yang? I'm here to repay his kindness. But my heartbeat subconsciously quickened. I hurriedly denied it. I don't like Su Yang. Chun-Shi raised an eyebrow, looking at me meaningfully. Really don't like him? I don't. I'm here to repay his kindness, I thought to myself. A trace of triumph suddenly appeared in Chun-Shi's eyes as she looked at me. Her gaze passed over me and landed behind me. I turned around and saw Su Yang standing at the door. His eyes icy cold. I don't know why, but my heart panicked. Subconsciously I spoke. Su Yang. Su Yang didn't speak. He stepped forward, grabbed my wrist, and pulled me outside. His movements were somewhat rough. He walked very fast. He was pulling me, his grip strong. I couldn't break free and could only stumble along behind him. Su Yang noticed from the corner of his eye. Even though he was furious now, he still couldn't help but slow his pace. At the corner of the stairs, he trapped me against the wall, pinched my chin with his hand, and forced me to look at him. Looking into Su Yang's reddened eyes, an uncontrollable ache surged in my heart. Su Yang, what's wrong? I spoke softly. Su Yang let out a light scoff. What's wrong with me? If you don't like me, then don't fucking mess with me. What? Do you get a sense of achievement from playing with me? I frowned. I'm not playing with you. I just want to be good to you. Not playing? This time, it was you who took the initiative to mess with me. It was you who took the initiative to provoke me. Su Yang lowered his head, coming very close to me. His breath hit my face, scorching hot. I didn't dare breathe. Su Yang and I locked eyes. Gazing into the pupils that reflected me, my heart trembled violently. I spoke softly. Su-yang, do you like me? Su-yang couldn't say a word. He just looked at me tightly. When he lowered his head and saw my wrist, which he was still holding, was red all over, he hurriedly let go. Looking at the complex emotions in Su-yang's eyes, I suddenly felt incredibly certain. Su-yang, you like me? A declarative sentence. So what if I like you? Is the good student's memory so bad? I told you in the first year of high school. Pretend it never happened. But this time, it was clearly you who came messing with me first. It was you who provoked me first. I stared at him blankly, not knowing what he was talking about. We clearly didn't even know each other. I'm someone who cries easily. Looking at him, tears suddenly welled up in my eyes, but I held them back forcefully. He looked at my tearful, almost crying expression, sighed softly, and said with reddened eyes, "Just give me an apology. Say you're sorry and I'll forgive you, okay?" I understood. I politely bowed to him and said softly, "I'm sorry. I didn't know I made you so angry. I was wrong." Su-yang's heart trembled again and again. "Do you know what you did?" I shook my head. "No." "Then what the hell are you apologizing for?" "Because you're angry, and it's because of me. So I'm wrong," I said very seriously, not joking. Emotions surged in Su-yang's eyes, as if he could no longer control himself. He lowered his head and kissed my lips, fervent yet restrained. My mind went blank with a crash. I pushed him away sharply, covered my mouth, and looked at him with misty eyes. Su-yang wanted to step forward, but my timid appearance stabbed at his heart, causing pain. Su-yang lowered his gaze. His voice carried a hint of hoarseness. "I'm sorry. From now on, stay away from me. I'm not a good person." After saying that, he turned to leave. He walked a few steps. Behind him, I murmured, a bit tearful, "Su-yang, you are good, I know." Su-yang stopped. His heart was full of palpitations. His hands hanging by his sides trembled imperceptibly, as if trying hard to suppress something. After a long while, Su-yang spoke softly, his voice low and carrying a hint of self-mockery. You don't know." The sky gradually began to drizzle. I didn't have an umbrella, so I could only wait for the rain to stop in the teaching building with reddened eyes. As I waited, I thought about what Su-yang had said. What had happened that I didn't know about? There must have been a problem somewhere. Today's rain seemed endless, drizzling incessantly. I waited until almost evening, and the rain was still falling. Just as I was about to call my dad, Su-yang came back again. He looked at my tear-reddened nose-tip. His tone wasn't gentle at all. "Fine, I give up on you, okay? It's raining and you don't know how to go home. Are you an idiot?" "So fierce," I said pitifully. "I don't have an umbrella." Su-yang didn't speak. He threw an umbrella at me. I quickly caught it, a pink umbrella, still in its packaging, obviously just bought. So new. Before I could say thank you, Su-yang said fiercely, "If you don't like me, then don't fucking mess with me in the future, or you'll regret it." As he spoke, he slung his clothes over his shoulder and strode away. But after a few steps, Su-yang turned back, seeing me still standing there dumbly, watching him. Su-yang cursed under his breath. "Damn." He spoke to me. "Good student, which part of me don't you like? Tell me, I'll change, okay?" After that day, it seemed like Su-yang started avoiding me. I felt very lost. I decided to find him and have a proper talk. As I walked to the corner of the corridor, I saw Su-yang's figure. Just as I was about to call out to him, a voice beat me to it. I stopped, pausing at the corner. It was a deliberately thinned voice, full of strong timidity. "Su-yang, classmate. It's Chun-Shi." Su-yang lifted his eyelids to look at her. "Who are you?" Su-yang's gaze was cold, not even wanting to look at her. Chun-Shi was surprised that Su-yang didn't remember her. "Classmate Su-yang, don't you remember me? It's me, Chun-Shi from Class 1. We've met twice." Su-yang sized her up. Chun-Shi, seeing Su-yang's appraising look, felt very embarrassed, as if he were looking at trash. She glanced down at her very old shoes, pulled at her faded shirt with both hands and said softly, "You really don't remember me?" Last semester, I even helped you deliver a love letter to Yu He. Before Chen Shi could finish, Su Yang interrupted impatiently. Don't remember. With that, he turned to leave. Chen Shi seemed very unwilling. She said urgently to Su Yang's retreating back. But you still came looking for Yu He. You clearly haven't forgotten. You're just deceiving yourself. Yu He is clearly playing with your feelings. She doesn't want to get involved with you from the bottom of her heart. She must have some ulterior motive toward you. You. Chen Shi was about to say more when Su Yang, who had suddenly turned around, grabbed her neck. She couldn't breathe, but Su Yang kept tightening his grip, his eyes full of ferocity. Chen Shi struggled desperately. She could hardly breathe, and Su Yang's face was full of excitement. Chen Shi was shocked. He really wanted to kill her. At that moment, Chen Shi felt genuine fear from the depths of her heart. She suddenly realized that the young man in front of her was Su Yang, whom everyone feared. She had actually thought that because she had spoken to him a few times, she was different. Just as Chen Shi was about to faint from lack of oxygen, Su Yang let go of her. She gasped for air, the instinct after a narrow escape. Su Yang's tone was somewhat nonchalant. What her attitude toward me is like doesn't need you to remind me. Next time we meet, stay out of my way. Chen Shi sat on the ground watching Su Yang leave, unable to regain her senses for a long time. After she composed herself, I walked over. I had to get to the bottom of this. I came up to her, my tone calm. Chen Shi. Chen Shi's eyes met mine. When her gaze lowered to my little white shoes, she suddenly turned her face away, looking disheveled. Looking at her averted face, I was somewhat puzzled. Why that kind of look? Envy mixed with resentment, seeming unfair. Perhaps jealousy and unwillingness. Something the matter? Her tone was cold, not wanting to talk to me. Did Su Yang come looking for me before? The love letter you mentioned ... Before I could finish, Chen Shi stood up, pushed me away, and tried to leave. I have a soft personality, but when I get stubborn, I'm the most annoying. I blocked her path, not letting her leave, following her step by step. When we were almost at her house, I finally wore her down. She turned around and told me about how Su Yang had sent me a love letter as early as the first semester of the first year. So, not long after the start of the first semester of the first year, Su Yang had come looking for me. At the time, he was very nervous, that he didn't even dare to see me in person. He handed the love letter to Chen Shi, who happened to be about to enter the classroom, pretending to be nonchalant and asking her to give it to me. But Chen Shi never gave it to me. She also liked Su Yang. Without my permission, she said many harsh things to Su Yang. She told Su Yang, "Looking at him once makes me feel disgusted. We're simply not from the same world." Chen Shi told him that this was what I asked her to convey. Su Yang's pride was shattered. His face turned gloomy. He said he would never bother me again. I looked down on him, and he didn't want to humble himself. Not touching such things was best for him. Su Yang said, "Writing love letters is such a stupid thing. I'll absolutely not do it a second time." I didn't expect Yu He to agree right away. I know my own limits. I know how far apart we are. My all-night nerves were all a fucking joke. Go back and tell Yu He, since she's so pure, then I won't dirty her sight. When I heard the whole story from Chen Shi's mouth, my heart ached terribly. So, he already knew me. So, when I became his special assistant, he held such hostility toward me. In my past life, I always thought he was prickly. It turns out that in a situation I was unaware of, he received such a rejection. And this hurt came from me. The youth's ardent affection was completely rejected. For the first time, I looked at someone with full-blown anger. Chen Shi glanced at my expression and laughed. "Don't look at me like that. You and Su Yang are simply not suited. Chen Shi, if you like someone, like them openly and honestly. Acting like this will only show others your inferiority complex." My words provoked her. She became somewhat agitated. "What do you know? You have no idea what he's been through. What he's done before. What kind of person he is. Only I can understand his situation. You come here now to lecture me? When you find out about Su Yang's past, will you still stand by him? Do you know that he ... I didn't wait for her to finish. I turned and left. I don't know what happened to Su Yang before, but regarding his past, I hope to learn about it from Su Yang's own mouth, not from what others say. Don't I know what kind of person he is? No, I know what kind of person he is. He is the person who, under the endless ruins, was willing to save a life. I wanted to understand Su Yang properly, but he kept avoiding me. I couldn't find him. I hadn't yet managed to understand him properly when I encountered the first injustice after being reborn. And what I couldn't accept was that this unfairness occurred at school. In my second monthly exam, I successfully tested back into first place. The school would recommend one person to participate in a national youth training and selection program. I thought it would be me, because the requirements above were primarily based on all grades since entering the school. 80% grades, 15% personal talents, 5% teacher recommendation score. Ranked according to these proportions, the first person gets the spot. But in the end, the person recommended was an art student. She was very beautiful and played the violin exceptionally well. I never imagined that the most heavily weighted grade score would be pressed to the minimum. And the final decisive factor turned out to be the 5% teacher recommendation. In my past life, there was also such a spot, but the school secretly determined it would be her. In this life, to ensure fairness, they use such a hypocritical ranking to decide. But where is the fairness? She is an art student who wants to go to a very famous music school abroad. She doesn't really want to go to this national training either. She just wants to make her resume look more perfect. She said triumphantly to others, "What if her grades are good? If I want this spot, my dad just needs to make a call and I get it. There's nothing money can't solve. See, with just a little money, the grade director bends over backward to deliver the spot to me." When I heard this, I was especially angry. I had already resigned myself to fate, but these words made me, who never fought for things, storm into the grade director's office with fierce determination. I stubbornly interrogated the grade director, wanting fairness. But I didn't get it. The teacher stood on the moral high ground and lectured me. He also said I was a good student. Why did I always think from my own interests? I couldn't be so selfish. My eyes reddened. I didn't know how to defend myself. This was school. That very afternoon, the news that the grade director had made me cry spread throughout the school. When school ended in the afternoon, I didn't rush home. My current state wasn't good. I was afraid if I went home, I'd worry my parents. So I sat in my seat and worked through one set of problems after another until it grew late. Suddenly, the chair in front of me was pulled back, and someone sat down in it. I looked up. The moment my eyes met Su Yang's, tears fell uncontrollably. I called to him tearfully, "Su Yang." Su Yang replied softly, I'm here." I couldn't hold back anymore. Crying, I told him how the grade director had spoken to me today. I cried intermittently, my eyes red. In Su Yang's words, like an injured little kitten. Su Yang listened quietly, and I kept talking. But he's a teacher. How can it be so unfair? Isn't this school? Su Yang leaned forward, gently wiping the tears from my face with his fingertips. But they were like beads. Wipe one and the next one appears, never stopping. I was really so sad. Su Yang's voice was very soft, hiding a gentleness that was hard to detect. "Don't cry anymore. It makes my heart ache." Then, he picked up my backpack and squatted in front of me. "Get on. I'll take you home." Sobbing, I wrapped my arms around Su Yang's neck. "How come you're here? Weren't you avoiding me? I've been waiting for you at the stairway. You didn't come down." "Oh." Su Yang slowly carried the sobbing me on his back. When we reached my doorstep, I was still sniffling. Su Yang carefully lowered me, helped me put my backpack on, held my shoulders with both hands, and bent down to be level with me. Again, that fierce tone. "Good student, don't cry anymore when you get back, okay? Such a small thing, you'll feel better after sleeping. If I find out you went home and cried alone, ill." I opened my red eyes wide and looked straight at him, waiting for what came next. Su Yang sighed and touched my head. "Forget it. What can I do to you anyway? Go back, sleep well. Tomorrow will be better. I promise you, tomorrow will definitely be better. But you have to eat today, understand?" I had cried all the way, so I wasn't actually that sad anymore. After all, I lived so long in my past life. I'm much older now. Today I just couldn't accept that schools could be unfair too. And that the instigator of all this was actually a teacher who is supposed to educate and nurture. I just couldn't accept it. But after crying for so long, I figured it out. I still thought this world was too beautiful. So, facing Su Yang now, I only felt embarrassed. I cried in front of him for so long. So embarrassing must be really ugly. Su Yang looked at me holding back my words, red eyes, head lowered. He cursed under his breath. Damn. Holding my face, fiercely. Speak. If you don't speak, I'll kiss you. Shock flashed in my eyes. I thought, even after crying like this, he still has thoughts like that. Su Yang seemed to see what I was thinking and chuckled softly. His laughter was short and low. I felt a tingling sensation in my chest. I looked at him helplessly. Su Yang softened his voice. You have to eat when you get back, understand? Paused for a moment, then spoke helplessly. Say something. I nodded gently. After returning home, I just couldn't relax. Su Yang said tomorrow would be better. He promised. But how would he ensure that? I'm so worried about him. So I lied to my parents. I told them I forgot to bring a homework assignment and needed to go back to school to get it. Dad was worried about me and insisted on taking me. I said I could go alone. Perhaps because I'm rarely this stubborn, Dad told me to be careful, get the book quickly, and call him if anything happened. I didn't have time to think about whether they could tell I was lying. I got on my bike and hurried to school. At school, I went straight to the grade director's office. I don't know why, but I just had a premonition that Su Yang had gone to find the grade director. Sure enough, as soon as I reached the office door, I heard Su Yang's voice. You really think a young girl has no one to back her up, huh? Su Yang was pulling the grade director's hair, flicking cigarette ash onto his face, blowing smoke toward him. Calculate it how it should be calculated. The grade director was terrified. The pungent smoke made him cough incessantly. Through the smoke, I saw Su Yang slapping his face with a hand, his eyes fierce. Be fair, damn it. This is a school. Without thinking much, I stood at the office door and called him Su Yang. As soon as I finished speaking, I clearly saw Su Yang's body tremble. Su Yang let go of the grade director's hair, stubbered out the cigarette, walked over, took my hand, and led me away from the office. As he walked, he said, Why did you come? Didn't I tell you to go home? So much smoke. Why did you come? I was worried about you. Hearing this, Su Yang suddenly let go of my hand, stopped and faced me. He looked down at me and asked awkwardly, You ... How much did you see? Before I could answer, he explained, Don't worry. I was just scaring him. I wouldn't really do anything to him. You. Su Yang, I was worried you might suffer a disadvantage. Su Yang was stunned for a long time, then chuckled softly. When he spoke again, his eyes held a smile. Me suffer a disadvantage? It's only a matter of whether I'm willing to let him go. There's no such thing as me suffering a disadvantage. The largest shareholder of this school is the Su Group. His tone was very confident, letting me see a glimpse of him as my boss in my past life. He looked at me nonchalantly. Good student. A large hand reached toward my cheek, gently pinching it. Next time you run into something like this, don't handle it alone. You're a good student. Anyone can bully you. Look for me. My reputation is bad. I'll stand up for you. I didn't speak, just looked at him smiling. Su Yang felt awkward under my gaze. He turned his head away and covered my eyes with his hand. Don't look at me like that. It was nothing. I'd do the same for anyone else. I held his hand with both of mine and moved it away from my eyes. Classmate Su Yang, bend down. Su Yang said in a slouching tone. Why? I want to touch your head. Ha, my head is something you can touch? Su Yang scoffed at me. I didn't speak, just looked up at him seriously. Su Yang ruffled his hair and sighed. Then he bent down in front of me. Hurry up. I curved my lips into a smile, raised my hand, and gently ruffled his hair, softly calling, Classmate Su Yang. What now? Su Yang's tone was a bit fierce, but he was still bent over. I said to him word by word, I want to be in a puppy love with you. What? Su Yang was stunned for a long time, finally asking me incredulously. The light in his eyes was especially bright. He suddenly got very close to me, almost touching the tip of my nose. The tips of my ears turned uncontrollably red. I spoke as softly as possible. I already said it. His warm breath hit my face. Su Yang's scent occupied my entire senses. You like me? I didn't speak, but my palpitating heart told me over and over that I like him. I'm having feelings for him. Suddenly, Su Yang reached out and pinched my ear. The smile in his eyes couldn't be hidden. Your ears are so red. You really like me. My body trembled. No one has ever pinched my ear like that before. I looked at him in shock. He laughed out loud. If you become my girlfriend, there's no breaking up in the future. You can throw tantrums all you want. I'll coax you. But breaking up? I won't allow it. Su Yang paused, rubbing my ear. Good student, even knowing this, do you still want to be my girlfriend? I looked at him and nodded gently. Yes. Su Yang smiled somewhat roguishly, ruffling my hair with his hand. Let's go. I'll take you home. I rode my bike. I don't care. I insist on taking you. As he spoke, he reached to hold my hand. I quickly dodged and whispered to him. This is school. Not allowed. Su Yang forcefully intertwined his fingers with mine. Puppy love is only called puppy love when it's at school. People might see. Su Yang chuckled, pinched my cheek, and leaned close. Either let me hold your hand, or let me kiss you. Your choice. I don't eat vegetables. Metaphorically, I'm not a pushover. I silently held his hand back. Compared to him kissing me, I think holding hands is safer. Su Yang, don't say I, your father. A vulgar way of saying I anymore. You should say I. Saying that isn't good, I said to him softly. Su Yang suppressed the upward curve of his lips, held my hand, and walked, occasionally squeezing my hand. Okay. I'll listen to you. On the way home, I saw Su Yang pretending to be nonchalant, but his eyes kept glancing at our joined hands. I couldn't help but softly call him. Su Yang, the love letter you gave me before ... It's fine. That was before. I don't care. I only care about now. You ... I looked up at him. He avoided eye contact. Su Yang took a step forward. I suddenly stopped. The letter you wrote me, Chen Shi, never gave it to me. I also never said those words. Su Yang, do you believe me? He paused for a moment. Dark colors churned in his eyes. Finally, his lips curved slightly. I believe you. I shook his hand, my voice gentle. Su Yang, don't go looking for Chen Shi. What belongs to me? I'll go ask for it. I'll get it back. Su Yang turned his head away, his voice faint. It's fine. Just a letter. No need to get it back. As he spoke, he was about to lead me forward. I stubbornly held him back. I will definitely get it back, okay? Su Yang laughed helplessly. Okay. We walked slowly all the way. Usually such a domineering Su Yang had so little to say this time, but he held my hand very tightly. The closer we got to home, the more silent Su Yang became. What was he afraid of? He led me walking very slowly. When I finally stood at my doorstep and was about to turn and go home, Su Yang stopped me. His voice held restraint. There was an emotion in his eyes I couldn't understand. I'll quit smoking. I'll also control my temper. And I won't say lousy anymore. Can you keep your word? When you wake up tomorrow morning, don't regret it. My heart felt an inexplicable dull pain. I said to him seriously, I keep my word. Su Yang's eyes brightened. He suddenly bent down, getting very close to me. I clearly saw his gaze sweep over my lips. I quickly covered my lips tightly with my hands. Su Yang laughed out loud. His lips landed on the back of my hand. I opened my eyes wide and called out angrily, Su Yang. His warm breath sprayed on my face, making my skin feel itchy. Su Yang's Adam's apple bobbed. He cursed under his breath. Damn, this is gonna kill me. Su Yang. Wrong. I won't say it. The next moment, he bent down and restrainedly kissed the top of my head. His voice was hoarse. No regrets. Indeed, a person who is kind is easily bullied. and a horse that is tame is easily ridden. I've been too well behaved for so long that everyone thinks they can push me around. No matter how hard I try to resist, I can't get the fairness I deserve. But after Su Yang's intervention yesterday, the grade director was probably scared. The spot was returned to me. When I came out of the grade director's office to return to the classroom, the art student was waiting in the hallway. She looked at me disdainfully with her little clique. People from other classes stuck their heads out of windows, all wanting to know how she would teach me a lesson. Chen Shi was also watching me through a window. I looked at them calmly, wanting to pass by them and ignore them, but one of them grabbed my wrist. The art student looked at me and said with a smile, "What? You took my spot without even giving an explanation." I wasn't afraid of her. This should have been mine. I don't owe you any explanation. Even if it weren't me, it shouldn't have been yours. I didn't want to argue further and tried to leave, but they held my wrist, not letting me go. Suddenly, a voice called me. "You he." It was Su Yang. In front of everyone, he smiled with a roguish air. "Come here." When I got closer, he extended a hand to me. I couldn't help but smile. Su Yang's tone was so cocky. I walked over, looked up at him, and placed my hand in his palm. His hand was big enough to completely envelop mine. He lifted the corners of his mouth. With so many people watching, I was very shy. But I didn't hide. He took my hand and looked at it. My wrist was already red in a circle. He asked me softly, "Does it hurt?" I smiled and shook my head. "I don't feel anything." He touched my head, then casually rested his hand on it. He's so tall that I can practically be his prop. Then, Su Yang raised his chin toward the art student and her group, who were frozen in place. "Looking for my kid for something?" That art student could be said to be very surprised. Her eyes were full of shock, and not just her, but others too. "The brother Yang. Sorry. We didn't know it was little sister-in-law. It's all a misunderstanding. We'll leave now." The phrase, "little sister-in-law," made my face flush red, but Su Yang seemed to enjoy it. The art student was about to leave with her people, when Su Yang lifted his eyelids to glance at her and said lazily, "Did I allow you to leave?" I tilted my head to look at him. Su Yang realized and hurriedly corrected himself. "Damn," slipped out. I quickly tugged at him. "Su Yang." "Tisk." He ruffled his own hair. "Damn," said the wrong thing again. He pinched my cheek. I was wrong. The art student and her group were left hanging on the side, not daring to leave. "Brother Yang, can we go now?" Hearing this, Su Yang smiled mischievously. "You have to ask my Yu-He if she agrees." Then he bent down to ask me, "Let them go or not?" Everyone knew that when Su Yang fought, he went all out. No one dared to provoke him. No one had ever seen no one high Su Yang being so obedient. No one dared to speak. The pressure was on me. I knew Su Yang was standing up for me, but this display scene is so grand. I hurriedly stammered, Yes, you can." Su Yang looked at me and laughed out loud, covering his eyes, saying, "So well behaved." The result of this scene was that the entire school knew I was in a puppy love with Su Yang. But due to Su Yang's bad reputation, no one dared to report it. My best friend, who had returned from using the toilet, learned about this and pulled me aside, scared out of her wits, looking me over again and again. "I'm sorry, you were being bullied while I was taking a shit." I couldn't help but laugh at her. "It's fine." My best friend's gossip-loving heart burned fiercely. "You're dating Su Yang? Do you really like that type? So fierce. You didn't have any interaction with him before. How did you suddenly get together?" I carefully explained to my best friend. I owed him something before, but I couldn't repay it. So I wanted to be good to him. Otherwise I wouldn't feel at ease. But now I realize I like him. So we got together. I thought about it. In my past life, during the earthquake, Su Yang protected me in his arms and I survived. I really did owe him my life. I have to repay it. Best friend. You confessed? When? I nodded gently. Yesterday. The fact that Su Yang liked me, I didn't even dare to think about it before. I thought if I were going to like him, I would have liked him in my past life already. But he was so fierce to me. Unbearable. You could say he found fault with me everywhere. That's why, in this life, I didn't dare have any wild ideas. I just wanted to protect him well, so he could live a long life. But, it seems he has liked me for a long time. What exactly have I forgotten in all this? But the more my best friend thought about it, the more impressed she was. Holding my face, she said, he's really someone who does big things quietly. With one move, you got the school bully. But you have to be careful, okay? His looks are the type that seem very flirtatious. You absolutely must be careful not to be enchanted by his good looks. Otherwise, I wouldn't even dare to go help you get revenge. He's too fierce. I'm afraid he'd hit me. My best friend's words made me laugh. What is she even saying? Is Su Yang flirtatious? Su Yang isn't flirtatious. In my past life, he was already in such a position. He could have any woman he wanted. But whenever those celebrities and young models tried to get involved with him, he always refused with cold eyes. His side was spotlessly clean. Don't worry. Su Yang isn't flirtatious. Recently, people at No 1 High have been saying that all it takes to change a student is a sweet love. School bully Su Yang is a vivid example. He actually started studying. When people blocked his way and he passed by, Su Yang would even say thank you to them. But a cocky Su Yang who said thank you like you owed him thousands was even scarier than a fighting Su Yang. They all said it was my merit. Moreover, Su Yang started studying, sticking to me all day wanting to study. Every day he would occasionally blurt out a few English sentences. That day, one of the boys who used to hang out with him said to him, "Brother Yang, I heard the guys from No 2 High are having a happy today. Are we going?" Su Yang kicked him, looking disgusted. "That's damn party. If you don't know how to say it, don't say it. He with great difficulty taught me. Don't lead me astray." When Su Yang suggested studying together on Saturdays and Sundays too, having me go to his apartment to tutor him, I really fell for his trick. He didn't want to study. He was just thinking of ways to take advantage of me. He wanted to hold my hand for everything. When his eyes darkened and he took my hand, pulling me to sit on his lap, I should have sensed something was off. But I was completely dazed. He held me sitting on his lap, his arms circling my waist, trembling slightly. He called me hoarsely. He. Before I could answer, his palm covered my eyes. He bit my upper lip not too lightly, not too heavily, carefully prying open my lips. From being muddled at first to cautiously responding later, he gently nibbled on my lips. All sensations in my features were amplified to the maximum. After a long time, he still wouldn't let me go. I pushed him away, breathing lightly, panting, turning my head away, refusing to look at him. His Adam's apple bobbed. He called me hoarsely, "You." Hearing that, my lips pursed and my eyes filled with tears. Su Yang panicked instantly, not knowing what to do. He pressed his forehead against mine, holding me. "Baby, don't cry. I was wrong. I won't dare again. Don't cry. I'll give you my life, okay?" "Who wants your life?" Tears began to spill from my eyes. Su Yang flustered comforted me. Suddenly, sitting on his lap, I felt his physical reaction. I couldn't help but kick him with my foot. He grabbed my foot, not daring to look at me. "I'm really a beast. The way you cry makes me want to kiss you even more." As he spoke, he placed me on the bed like carrying a child. "Wait for me to take a cold shower. Then I'll let you vent your anger. Don't cry anymore. Later, let you vent enough." Then he went to the bathroom and took a long cold shower. So long that my emotions stabilized, and I felt crying was pointless, before he came out. Su Yang looked at me sitting on the bed and pinched my cheek. "Baby is so sweet." I pushed his hand away, both shy and angry. "If my dad finds out, he'll beat you to death." He smiled shamelessly. I'd be willing to be beaten to death by Dad too. The time for my intensive training was approaching. The closer it got, the more he stuck to me. While pinching my earlobe, he said pitifully, "Why does the training have to last a whole month?" I didn't expect Su Yang to be so clingy when in a relationship, but I also liked him being stuck to me. It let me see a different side of him. I knew he couldn't bear to part with me. I could only tell him that a month passes quickly, and he could come visit me too. But I didn't expect him not to visit me once in the entire month. Not even a phone call. Only one night, my phone rang. It wasn't Su Yang's number, but I just knew it was Su Yang on the other end. I asked several times who it was, but there was no response from the other side. It seemed they just wanted to hear my voice. I thought something might have happened, but I didn't expect that all of this was orchestrated by Chen Qi. Before I left for training, I went to her house to find her. At that time, I wanted to get back the letter Su Yang wrote me. That was Su Yang's sincere heart. I had to get it back, so I went to her house. I didn't know Chen Qi deeply. I only knew her mother remarried when she was very young, taking her and her younger brother to a man who worked on construction sites. Chen Qi's family had some difficulties. The school had financial aid every year, but she rarely applied for it. She was a very proud girl. She rarely talked about her family at school. So, her personality was particularly withdrawn. She rarely initiated conversations with others. So I didn't know she was having a hard time. I asked for directions all the way to her house. The whole area was rental housing, and the environment wasn't very good. As soon as I neared her home, I heard sounds of beating and cursing. Bitch, just like your mother. Both selfish people. You eat my food, wear my clothes. What's wrong with you going to accompany my friend? I vaguely saw through the window the man pulling Chen Qi's hair. I've raised you all these years. When have you ever listened to me? You and your brother are both good-for-nothings. This time, whether you want to go or not, you have to go. Only if you go can I have money to repay the loan shark. If you don't go, I'll beat you until you go. Don't think your brother will live either. Mentioning Chen Qi's brother, Chen Qi suddenly stood up, hugged the man's leg, and bit hard. The man cried out in pain and kicked her far away. From inside the house to outside the door. I was terrified by the scene before me. But when I reacted, I had already run over and shielded Chen Qi. The man was startled by my sudden appearance. Chen Qi was also stunned. I patted her hand, signaling her not to be afraid. Then, I noticed a 7 or 8-year-old boy standing crying in the room. I helped Chen Qi up. I'll call the police for you. Call the police? Let's see who dares call the police today. Such a tender young girl is worth more than that bitch, right? Meddling in my business, huh? I'll make sure you can't leave today once you're here. His words disgusted me. This is against the law. My voice was thin and soft. No matter how angry I was, my words held little deterrence. He laughed even more unrestrainedly, even reaching to grab my hand. Before he could touch me, I called out with red eyes. Su Yang. Su Yang was nearby. He came with me, but I said I wanted to go alone. So he waited at the entrance of the alley. The door was broken open. Su Yang kicked him away, then pinned him down, smashing him against the wall again and again. Fists landed on the man's body. The man was knocked unconscious, his face covered in blood. I saw Su Yang's hand was already bleeding. I called his name worriedly, but at that moment, he seemed unable to perceive the outside world, unable to hear any sound. I was afraid something worse would happen. I walked over and grabbed his clenched fist. I could feel it trembling violently. His eyes were bloodshot, full of rage, wanting to continue hitting. I grabbed the hem of his clothes. Su Yang, that's enough. It's okay. I'm fine. He didn't touch me. I've always been prone to crying. As soon as I spoke, tears fell. Su Yang's eyes focused, looking at me. He carefully wiped my tears, patted my back again and again, speaking to me, yet also as if to himself. Baby, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I'm here. Then he took my hand and started walking outside. No need. We don't want the letter. If you want it, I'll write you another one. I wanted to say something more, but Su Yang picked me up on his back and walked out of Chen Qi's house. I'm taking you away from here. Be good, okay? His voice was especially hoarse. I sensed something unusual about Su Yang. An indescribable sadness filled my heart, but I didn't know how to comfort him. I could only press my face tightly against him, letting him feel my presence. Su Yang, I'll be good. Don't be scared. I know you're here. Su Yang's footsteps paused. Fortunately you called my name today. Thank you for calling my name. Otherwise, if something happened to you while I was nearby, if such a thing really happened again, I might not be able to live either. At that time, I still couldn't understand why Su Yang said again, until I returned from my training. During the training period, Su Yang not contacting me once made me worried. At first, I doubted myself. But later, that late-night call when no one spoke made me sense something was wrong. Returning home, I called Su Yang's phone. He didn't answer. So, the next day, when I could have rested, I went to school early. My best friend saw me, very surprised, hesitant to speak. I spoke calmly. Go ahead, say it. Did something happen to Su Yang? You can tell me. I can handle it. My best friend hemmed and hawed, and I finally understood clearly. My Su Yang, during the days I wasn't by his side, faced endless accusations at school. They said Su Yang was the sinner who caused his mother's death. His mother died because of him. His father wouldn't have died that same day either. It was all his fault. They said if it weren't for Su Yang, his mother wouldn't have died. His mother shouldn't have given birth to Su Yang. They said Su Yang had no heart. The day his mother died because of him, he was in an internet cafe playing games. They said no wonder his temper was so bad. Even his mother's death didn't change him. He was simply beyond redemption. They said Su Yang shouldn't even be alive in this world. If it were them, they wouldn't have the face to live. At that moment, it seemed everyone could stand up and condemn him. The pain made it hard for me to breathe. I wanted to find Su Yang immediately, but I couldn't find Su Yang at school, and no one would listen to my explanations. I told them Su Yang was good, but except for my best friend, no one believed me. What to do, Su Yang? What should I do? I'm too incompetent. Apart from studying, I'm good for nothing. I can't even do a good job defending you. According to my best friend, when the rumors about Su Yang started spreading at school, they began on the school forum. At first, even though everyone knew, no one dared to discuss it in front of Su Yang. But later, as more and more people talked about it, it gradually reached Su Yang's ears. That day, Su Yang was just stunned for a moment, went to my classroom, sat alone for a while, took my thermos, and never returned to school. From initial panic, I gradually calmed down. In my past life, I studied computer science in university. I started searching from the source and finally found the address of the person who posted it. It was a small internet cafe near Chen Shi's home. It was Chen Shi. Chen Shi. I couldn't understand why she would do this. The day before I left for the training, I had talked to her. I stopped her as she was about to go home. Chen Shi, call the police. If it's inconvenient for you, I can help. Don't be afraid. What was she like at that time? She smiled very mockingly. Stop being hypocritical in front of me. Are you feeling very smug now? Su Yang likes you so much. You're so bored you came to laugh at me. I frowned. I just want to help you call the police. But I need your cooperation. Chen Shi, that man is breaking the law. You don't have to suffer this harm. Call the police? Do you know what I've been through? Call the police to have him arrested. He didn't kill anyone. Didn't commit a serious crime. How many years could he be locked up? After he's out of prison, he'll come bother me again. I'll never escape him in my lifetime. As she spoke, she paused for a moment, then looked at me and said, Some people simply don't deserve prison. They should go to hell. Chen Shi's eyes were particularly fierce and ruthless, scaring me into taking a few steps back. She looked at me and laughed. If you tell anyone about my situation, Yuhi, I won't let you off. I looked at her, wanting to empathize. What kind of life had she lived that made her like this? But I wasn't her. I couldn't find the answer. She told me to stay out of it, so I truly didn't. But I never expected her to be so malicious, actually posting Su Yang's story on the school forum while I was away for training. I really couldn't understand why she would do this. Su Yang had no grudge against her. I also couldn't figure out how she knew about Su Yang's past. In my past life, even as his special assistant, I never heard about it. After finding out it was her, I found her, filled with anger. She was very calm, as if she had known I would come looking for her. Why? No reason. Just wanted to see if he would give up on you if he was stuck in the mud like me. Sure enough, his first step was to push you away. I looked at the madness in her eyes. So what if he gives up on me? Countless times I'll go find him. And you? What right do you have to harm Su Yang like this? People should be kind. You have no right to harm Su Yang. Hearing my words, she suddenly became very agitated. Kind? What is kindness? You don't even know what I've been through. What right do you have to talk to me about kindness? You were born in the light. You have parents who love you. You just need to live well, not worry about anything. You also have many little white shoes that are fine, even when dirty. What did I do wrong? To be stuck in the mud for my entire life. I just can't stand you being so happy. Su Yang likes you too. Why can he also be happy? He and I are the same kind of people. He should be stuck in the mud like me. I looked at her quietly for a long time, then spoke softly. No one is born to live in darkness. There will always be someone willing to take you into the sunlight countless times. I will find Su Yang. Jin Shi. Living in darkness is not your reason for harming Su Yang. I'm sorry, but I cannot mutually encourage with you. I felt Chen Shi was insane. I couldn't do anything to her. She was trapped in her own world. I couldn't reason with her. Su Yang's personality. I thought he wouldn't be afraid of what people at school thought of him. He should have used his domineering side to make them shut up. But this time, he didn't resist. Instead, he hid. He was afraid that after I found out, I would think he was a sinner who caused his parents' deaths and was still living well in this world. He was afraid I would dislike him, that I would not want him. So he hid, making it so I couldn't find him. But I had to find him. Absolutely. But the process of looking for someone was truly too difficult. I searched for so long, a month. My parents had already noticed my abnormality, but I didn't know how to explain it to them. I searched and searched, finally breaking down, squatting under a streetlight, hugging myself, crying very sadly. Why push me away again? In my past life, you left me alone to live in this world for so long. In this life, you still want to push me away. Suddenly, a shadow fell over my head, blocking the light above me. I looked up. Su Yang stood about a meter away, looking very haggard. In just 1 week, he had let himself become like this. Su Yang's voice was terribly dry. I'm sorry. I won't hide anymore. Don't be sad, okay? I stood up, not bothering to wipe the tears from my face. Su Yang, the moment something happens, you hide yourself, regardless, leaving me alone on the side. What do you think I'll think of you? The same as others? He. Su Yang's voice trembled, calling my name lowly. You never truly came to ask about my feelings. You just retreated into your own shell. Self-righteous. If you don't trust me like this, why did you even want to be with me? Before I could finish my angry words, Su Yang suddenly hugged me tightly, as if wanting to knead me into his bones and blood. Su Yang bent down, burying his face deeply into the crook of my neck. I was stunned. I felt Su Yang's body trembling violently. He was afraid. Suddenly, a drop of warmth and wetness fell on my neck. Was he crying? A muffled voice. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Baby, don't say break up. My heart ached with dense pain. I asked him softly. I looked for you for so long. Where were you? I was always by your side. I froze abruptly, my heart aching terribly. So, when I was in such a disheveled state, how did he resist not coming close to me? His voice was very low. What they say at school is all true. When my mom died, this beast was still playing games in an internet cafe. I really am a rotten person like they say you. Do you still want me? He hugged me tighter. Can you not give up on me? His tone was low, down to the dust. Su Yang, yes, I want you. I stroked his back again and again. Su Yang, you always think I simply like you, that I don't love you enough. But I love you. Su Yang lifted his head, looking at me in disbelief. He didn't even dare move, as if afraid this was a dream. I looked at him, gently ruffling his hair. Su Yang, you have to believe that I might love you more than you think. You don't know. Perhaps I crossed a cycle of rebirth to come to your side. Su Yang's eyes were still red, carrying unease. No long speeches, just repeating my name over and over, his voice hoarse yet affectionate. Mim. Mim. Without impatience, I patiently responded each time, once for each time he called. I took Su Yang's hand and led him home. Whatever happens, we face it together. No hiding from each other. Su Yang nodded obediently. Tell me about your parents? Okay. That was the first time I learned about Su Yang's parents. The whole process, he spoke very calmly. But the act of narrating was like tearing open old wounds again, spreading them out before him, piercing the heart once more. I finally understood the reason for Su Yang's abnormality that day at Chen Shi's house. As I listened, I intertwined my fingers with his. I wanted so much to give him strength. I never expected Su Yang to have such a past. Su Yang told me he once had a very warm family too. Back then, although he also had a bad temper, he wasn't as unruly as now. His mother was a very gentle woman. At that time, he had argued with his family over a small matter. It was raining outside. He went out without an umbrella. Even as it grew dark, he didn't return. His mother, worried about him, took an umbrella and went out to look for him. He never imagined his mother would suffer such harm that day, because she went out looking for him. Su Yang's mother had an accident that day. She went alone with an umbrella to places Su Yang often frequented, ended up encountering a man who had just been released from prison for attempted rape. Su Yang's mother was especially beautiful and loved wearing cheongsams. But this beautiful cheongsam became the reason for that man's crime. She just accidentally bumped into that person. But as the sky grew dark, he had been drinking, and instantly transformed into a demon who shouldn't be alive in this world. He dragged Su Yang's mother away in front of everyone. She sought help from those around, but the man was ferocious looking, pulled out a knife from his bag, and no one dared to help. A girl wanted to come help but was forcibly carried away by her boyfriend. Thus, Su Yang's mother was dragged away and violated. She screamed loudly, calling Su Yang's father's name over and over. When Su Yang's father heard the phone alarm go off, he knew his wife was in trouble. He ran out recklessly. That usually wise man was extremely panicked at that moment. When he arrived at the scene, he fought the man like a madman. He used the man's own knife to stab him to death. But in the end, he also died from excessive blood loss in the rain. Before dying, he still comforted Su Yang's mother, saying, "Don't be afraid. I'm here." Holding her, not wanting her to get rained on. Su Yang's mother was sent to the hospital. After being rescued, she couldn't accept reality and jumped from the building that same day. And Su Yang had been waiting in the arcade for his mother to come pick him up. When he found out, he was heartbroken and guilty. But he didn't dare admit or think that all this happened because of his willfulness. So he used rebellion and overbearing arrogance to disguise himself. At the funeral, he sneered at his father's portrait. Really useless Su Tanzhou. Actually died together with that guy. Should have made that guy suffer more than death. Should have sent him to hell. You killed him so easily. Who do I go to vent my anger on? His grandfather was furious and immediately slapped him. Su Yang said that at that time, he looked at his grandfather and sneered. "You're not my dad. You have no right to hit me." Then he turned and left, never returning. He used this as an excuse to leave home. Actually, because he didn't want to stay in that house every day. Reminded of what happened. "I was really damn cowardly," he said to me, especially helplessly. You don't know. That day I was actually in the arcade, playing games while waiting for my mom to come pick me up. I knew she would definitely come pick me up. Every time we argued, it was like that. I was even thinking, if she came to pick me up, I'd take the step down she offered and go home with her. But I didn't wait for her. I didn't even get to see her for the last time. Su Yang. I called his name, telling him I was still here. Su Yang touched my head, his eyes reddening. You know. Actually, I regret it every day. I'm not like they say, without feelings. I couldn't sleep in countless nights. I've always been repenting. Believe me. I actually feel worse than anyone. Su Yang, I believe you, I do. That's when I knew how difficult Su Yang's past life had been. In this life, he has me. I'll face it with him. Su Yang back then must have been so sad. How did he spend his nights? But it's okay. From now on, I'll be by his side. I'll hold him, not letting him be sad. The next day I took Su Yang to see his grandfather. It was his first time returning home since the funeral. Grandfather was a very amiable old man, at least to me. He was even afraid of speaking too loudly and scaring me. But when he turned to look at Su Yang, his expression changed extremely fast. Looking at Su Yang, his eyes were not eyes. His nose was not a nose. But in that deliberately angry expression, I saw hidden longing. Su Yang also awkwardly wore a stinky face. The mutual dislike expressions of the grandfather and grandson were especially cute. Grandfather handed Su Yang a phone. It was his mother's phone. It turned out before Su Yang's mother left this world, she had left a message for Su Yang in the phone. A gentle and mellow female voice. She said, Yang, I'm sorry. Mommy seems to not have the courage to adapt to a world without your dad. Your dad and I were childhood sweethearts. You don't know, he's been stuck to me since we were kids. So I'm afraid your dad, over there, will still be foolishly standing at the intersection waiting for me. I can't bear to let him wait too long. Forgive Mommy for wanting to go keep him company over there. And, absolutely don't get stuck in a dead end. You did nothing wrong. You're still Mommy's good child. But Mommy isn't a good mom. I'm going to leave now. Take good care of yourself. Don't lose your temper randomly. It's not good for your health. Yang, Dad and Mom both love you very much. So don't blame yourself. I sobbed loudly upon hearing it for everything Su Yang had experienced, and for his mother's love for him. Su Yang was listening quietly at first, but later started in turn comforting me at a loss. Crying over what? I'm not even crying. I looked up. I saw tears in Su Yang's eyes too. That day, sunlight shone finely on the big tree, making every vein on the leaves and branches especially clear. That day, Su Yang's eyes were red, holding my hand very tightly. That day I stood on my tiptoes, ruffling his hair again and again, without speaking. But I knew that at this moment he truly reconciled with himself. That day the sky was very blue. It didn't rain. Su Yang returned to school and resumed his role as the arrogant, domineering campus bully. He was even more insolent than before. It could be said that now, he was impervious to all poisons. The day after Su Yang returned to school, Jinshi stopped coming. According to the teacher, she had taken leave. But a week later, something major happened. The news reported, Xin Shi, a senior high school student from No One High School, personally killed her stepfather. In the end, Qin Shi's younger brother was sent to an orphanage, and Qin Shi went to prison. The news said she had turned herself in. When Su Yang heard about this, he just said indifferently, that man deserved to die. As for Qin Shi, he made no comment. When people at school heard about it, they were all sighing in disbelief. How could this be? She was always such a quiet girl. They said, you'd never tell. A girl who usually talked so little could actually be so heartless as to kill her stepfather. How terrifying. For a while, the words they had once directed at Su Yang seemed to be hurled at Qin Shi all over again. It was as if everyone stood on the moral high ground to judge her. For Qin Shi, this was too cruel. I didn't like her, but just as she had said, none of us had experienced what she experienced, so how could we understand her situation? Nothing is unbelievable. When a person is driven to desperation, there is nothing they can't do. In this world, there are far too many things more terrifying than death. But all the malice we encounter in this world that we cannot comprehend serves as a reminder not to become that kind of person. So when we fight back, we must do it elegantly. As people, we can strive to be upright. If one day you can't hold on anymore, it seems okay to be a little selfish. I never expected Qin Shi to send me something. When I received the package from the postman a week later, my main feeling was surprise. It was a beautiful box. I opened it to find a perfectly preserved love letter inside. This was the love letter Su Yang wrote to me in our first year of high school. Qin Shi had kept it very well, never even opening it. I opened it and read from beginning to end. Su Yang's youthful yet fervent love once again made my heart flutter. At the end of the letter was Su Yang's signature. You could tell it was written with great seriousness, but the handwriting was truly awful, just as ugly as in the previous life. As I looked at it, I laughed out loud. I had thought that love letter, which once represented a young boy's blazing affection, would remain forever unknown. Yet, after many twists and turns, although a bit slow, it finally found its way to me. For university, I still went to the same school as in my previous life, while Su Yang was dragged back by his grandfather to inherit the family company. On my first day at university, Su Yang, to declare his sovereignty, made a grand appearance, driving me right to my dormitory building. If I hadn't stopped him, he would have insisted on making an appearance in my dorm room. Thus, on the very first day of school, everyone knew that I had a boyfriend who ran a major company. I have to say, it felt pretty awesome. During university, I took Su Yang home to meet my parents. To meet them, he specifically cut his hair into a crew cut. In his words, elders all like such neat and proper hairstyles. But honestly, with this new haircut, he looked really intimidating. The day he came to my house, he dressed extremely formally. The moment he saw my dad, he got nervous, and his first word was "Dad." This made my dad so angry he was practically huffing and puffing, and he really didn't take to Su Yang. But Su Yang, thick-skinned and grinning, managed to charm my mom. After graduating university, I still went to Su Corporation, once again becoming Su Yang's special assistant. Only this time, unlike the previous life, any little stir involving me at the company could alarm everyone. Mainly because, whenever Su Yang encountered matters related to me, he became ridiculously exaggerated, like a different person. On our wedding day, Su Yang cried like a fool. At night, he had to hold our marriage certificate to sleep. He was afraid it was all a dream. Yes, actually, I was afraid it was just my dream too. In the previous life, Su Yang died in the ruins saving me. In this life, I was determined to change his fate. But the closer the time of the earthquake came, the more unsettled I felt. Our future still held a great unknown. I had been reborn, but I possessed no special abilities. I didn't know if I could forcibly alter fate. I didn't know if I prevented Su Yang from going to City A, would fate, to get back on track, create another compelling reason he absolutely had to go there. This kind of unease was hard to share with others. I could only bottle it up alone. So, Su Yang and I didn't have a baby, because I wasn't sure if he could safely pass his 27th year. If he still walked the exact same path as the previous life, then I probably wouldn't have the courage to live in a world without him. I'm very cowardly. I can't bear such loneliness. The day I saw the news, I called Su Yang's phone but couldn't get through. The unease in my heart rose again. Su Yang would never not answer my call. So, I hastily called his good friend. From his hesitant words, I finally learned Su Yang's news. He had gone to City A for a very important project. But in the previous life, such a project had never even existed. The phone slipped from my hand. I sat down on the floor, feeling utterly powerless. Why? Why did he still go there? Why didn't he listen to me? If Su Yang's life was still the same as the previous life, then what was the meaning of my rebirth? I dared not think about it. Why couldn't I change anything? What was supposed to happen was still happening. Only I had escaped it. No. I needed to see the situation for myself to know. I refused to believe that Su Yang's end would be the same as last time. If it was the same, why did heaven let me be reborn? Stumbling to my feet, I rushed towards City A. My hands trembled so badly while driving. By the time I sped all the way to City A, the car was practically wrecked from my collisions on the road. The scene was filled with the sounds of crying and screaming. I didn't know how to find Su Yang. I just blindly got out of the car and ran to the ruins where I had been buried in my previous life. Squatting down, I started moving rocks with my bare hands, calling Su Yang's name over and over. No one answered. Suddenly, someone called my name. It was Su Yang. Before I could turn around, Su Yang quickly ran over, frowning as he grabbed my hands. Why did you come here? There was just an earthquake here. What if there are aftershocks? It's so dangerous. Look at your hands, they're bleeding. Su Yang's touch was so real, so clear. Only then did I gradually come back to my senses. I opened my mouth several times before a sound came out. Didn't I tell you not to come? Why didn't you listen to me? What if something happened to you? What would I do? Seeing me so angry, Su Yang immediately panicked. He took my hand and placed it against his face. Look, I'm fine, baby. I'm not hurt, see? Feel. I was still terrified. What if something had happened? Do you know, double quotes, how you died in your last life? Su Yang lowered his head and kissed my injured hand, carefully comforting me. Don't worry, baby. How could I let anything happen to me? I value my life too much. With you out here, How could I let myself get trapped inside? Don't worry, I ran the fastest. I was the first one out. I don't cling to material things, I wouldn't turn back for anything. How could I not have run out? These words struck right at my heart. I seemed to understand all at once. Yes, I had overlooked one question all along. How could Su Yang not have run out? So, in the previous life, Su Yang wasn't trapped in the ruins sharing my fate because he failed to escape. It was because I was inside, so he chose to turn back. I suddenly pulled my hand back, covered my eyes, and burst into loud sobs. Su Yang had never seen me cry so heartbreakingly. He was frantic with worry, his heart aching fiercely, clumsily trying to comfort me. Baby, did I make you angry? Don't cry, baby. I'm sorry, baby. I'm wrong. I'll never disobey you again, okay? Hit me, please. Don't cry, it hurts me to see you cry. I didn't speak, just kept crying on my own, as if finally finding an outlet for all the loneliness I endured for so long in that previous life. Su Yang bent down, smoothing my hair over and over. Please, stop crying, okay? I just want to see you smile. I'm sorry. So, the way to change Su Yang's fate wasn't to stop him. It was that if I was not in the dangerous place, then he would not die there. I cried for so long that day. Su Yang held me, comforting me over and over. Eventually, I cried myself to sleep. In my dream, I saw a scene neither I from the previous life nor I from this life had ever witnessed. One day during our first year of high school, in an inconspicuous corner, a young boy held a love letter, practicing the word hello against a wall countless times. He shed all his fierceness, lowered his entire demeanor. Look, he too yearned to be loved. Thank you for leading me to rediscover this world, making my journey through this life worthwhile. Thank you for gifting me light, thousands upon thousands of radiant beams amidst the darkness. End of main story. Side story. Chun-Chi. When Su Yang appeared outside class 1 again, Chun-Chi was pleasantly surprised. She watched him standing by the classroom door. A flicker of worry crossed her eyes. Why was he looking for her at this time? All the classmates were around. If she went out now, she would be associated with him for sure. And who knew what rumors would start? But after hesitating for a moment, she decided to go out anyway. She knew Su Yang had a bad temper. Making him wait would definitely anger him, and if he lost his temper with her, in front of everyone, it would be even more humiliating. So, with a sense of vanity she couldn't quite explain, she prepared to stand up. But then, Su Yang suddenly moved. He left the classroom door and walked towards the corridor window. He finally stopped beside the window, next to Yuhi's seat. He wasn't here for her. He was here for Yuhi. But how could someone as proud as him still come looking for Yuhi? She had said such harsh things to him last time. She still remembered the terrifying expression on his face after he heard them. Dark and gloomy, as if he wanted to kill someone. Even now, the memory sent a chill of fear through her. Yet, Su Yang had come looking for Yuhi again. She had thought that because she had spoken to Su Yang a few times, she should be different. But Su Yang could hardly even remember her. Yuhi wore the blue school uniform, her beautiful, smooth, long hair falling softly around her. Her face was small, a perfect oval shape, very sweet. But Chun-Chi's appearance was too ordinary. Her figure was thin and bony, clearly malnourished. Chun-Chi's gaze drifted down. She saw the lovely, clean little white shoes on Yuhi's feet. And he herself was like those white shoes, exceptionally clean. Clean to the point of making Chun-Chi feel ashamed. She envied Yuhi's life, yet desperately longed to become her. Everything Yuhi did seemed to succeed effortlessly. She could easily achieve the top rank in the grade. Chun-Chi, however, had to struggle just to keep up with the pace of class 1. Yuhi spoke softly and gently, well liked by everyone in class. Chun-Chi was an especially inconspicuous presence. She felt fortune had never favored her. Her mother had run off with someone else, and her stepfather took all his anger out on her and her younger brother. She wanted to run away, but where could she go? And what would happen to her little brother? She couldn't report it to the police. That beast had taken nude photos of her to use as blackmail. Only here, at school, Could she at least stay somewhat close to Su Yang? She liked Su Yang so much. He was the light she clung to while struggling in the darkness. She would never forget that day. She was wearing a dress given to her by a neighbor. It was one their child had outgrown, but for Chen Qi, it was a white dress she had never owned before. Yet, when she went out happily wearing it, she was surrounded by the kids living near the rental apartments. The malice of youth could sometimes crush a person. They knew she was wearing someone else's cast-off dress. They pointed at her, calling her dirty. It was a relentless act of bullying. They pushed her to the ground, soiling the dress. Chen Qi fought hard to hold back her tears. She refused to cry in front of them. Crying meant losing. But just then, Su Yang and his friends rode past on their motorcycles and stopped beside her. That day, Su Yang seemed like a celestial being descending. He took off his helmet and said to the middle schoolers, "Get lost, before I lose my patience." His reputation was huge. Students from nearby schools all knew of him. The middle schoolers fled in panic. Su Yang glanced at her, then nudged the bike of the guy next to him with his foot. "Clothes." The guy immediately understood, took off his jacket and threw it to her. As for that dirtied white dress, she carefully washed it clean and kept it. On the path of liking Su Yang, she was filled with inferiority and obsession, and had done too many wrong things. He had once extended a hand to her. She gritted her teeth and refused. What could she do? She was already accustomed to living in the mud, even though she had struggled countless times. When she drove the knife through her sleeping stepfather's body, she wasn't afraid at all. Killing him was something she had long wanted to do. Every time he got drunk and beat her violently, every time he handed her over to his creditors, she had wanted to kill him. Her stepfather's blood pooled on the floor. Chen Qi ran over and covered her little brother's eyes. She had killed her stepfather. Afterwards, she took a shower and put on her best clothes, that pure white dress, before going to the police station to turn herself in. She thought it was just that she found it so hard simply to want to live. The day the handcuffs were put on, she was very calm. Her eyes kept looking towards the entrance. Until the very end, the person she liked did not come to see her. Not even to laugh at her. He didn't come. She walked into the prison smiling, thinking, how fitting. In the end, only I ever took any of it seriously. Keeping you or letting you go, she could do neither. Everyone's life has its cracks. But Chen, she never got to wait for her own light. Side story. Su Yang. This life. The first time Su Yang met Yu, he was right after his mother's funeral. It was raining that day. A drizzly rain that left the air chilly. He walked out of the house in his black formal suit, alone on the street, smoking a cigarette. It was his first time smoking, and it was harsh. A pink umbrella suddenly appeared over his head. Su Yang looked up. "Hello, didn't bring an umbrella. Where are you going?" "I can walk you." The voice was soft and gentle, belonging to a very sweet-looking girl. Su Yang glanced at her, didn't say a word, and kept walking. He didn't really know where he was going anyway, but the girl beside him held the umbrella over him, accompanying him all the way, also silent. Su Yang looked down at her. Raindrops slid down her neck into her clothes. Her skin was so fair. Her shoulder was soaked, yet the umbrella was tilted towards him. She was short, so holding it up for him was an effort. But she didn't complain once, didn't show the slightest impatience. Su Yang snorted inwardly. So damn foolish for a stranger. But as if compelled by some unseen force, he said, "I'm here." The girl smiled at him, her eyes full of gentleness. "Okay, I'll leave you here then. Don't be sad. The people who love you wouldn't want you to be sad." With that, she turned and walked away. Su Yang watched her receding figure, so small, yet it had given him a strange sense of strength. Later, Su Yang learned her name was Yu He, and she was in his grade. So, starting from middle school, he began to harbor this presumptuous desire to have her. But he didn't rashly disturb her. She was so good. How could she be associated with someone like him? He just watched her silently from afar. When Yu He spoke to him first, Su Yang was annoyed. She had seen him hitting someone. The guy with him asked, "You, don't tell me you like that little classmate." Su Yang paused at the question, remembering how he had smiled at him earlier. So sweet. It wasn't until the cigarette butt burned his finger that he muttered defiantly, "Not my type." But that night, lying in bed, the soft sensation from when he had grabbed the girl's neck during the day seemed to linger on his fingertips, even clearer in the darkness. He rubbed his fingers, his mind uncontrollably conjuring images of the girl's fair neck again. So white, so fair and tender. One squeeze would leave a red mark. Su Yang was terribly agitated, fire coursing through his veins. How many times is this today? He glanced indifferently at his energetic lower half and cursed under his breath. So damn impressive. I don't believe it. Can't kick the habit. But from second year of middle school until now, he had been addicted to Yu-He. Su Yang got up and lit a cigarette. The metal lighter gleamed coldly in the dark. Leaning against the balcony railing, a cigarette in one hand, playing with the lighter in the other, he gazed through the smoke at the distant single-story houses. Yu-He's house was over there. Though not far in distance, an unbridgeable gap existed between their worlds. Over there, where Yu-He lived, was a place of warm, countless household lights. Just looking at it, he could feel the warmth. His own apartment was icy cold, devoid of any human touch. Su Yang couldn't figure out why Yu-He had actively approached him today. She had clearly said it before. They weren't the same kind of people. She really disliked him, so he didn't want to invite further disdain either. He thought about his attitude towards her today. My tone wasn't gentle, and I cursed. She must dislike me even more now. Next time she sees me, she'd definitely avoid me. We won't have any more interactions after this. That's for the best. I don't want to be pathetic again. His voice was very soft in the night. Good student, better not provoke me again. Stay far away from me. Otherwise I really won't be able to control myself. The cigarette burned quickly, almost reaching his fingers. Su Yang knew he should let go, but he stubbornly waited for it to burn out completely. Only when a clear pain shot through his hand did he flick the butt into the trash can. The next day, when Su Yang saw Yu-He in the classroom holding a lunchbox, an unbelievable thought crossed his mind. It couldn't be her, could it? She wouldn't bring me breakfast. He quickly walked to his seat, encircling her closely for the first time. She really had come to bring him breakfast. But she had brought eggs, and he was allergic to eggs. So, was he destined to have no fortune to enjoy this? Screw no fortune to enjoy. Su Yang ate every last bit of the eggs. The next morning, breaking all precedent, he arrived at school before dawn. Su Yang, wearing his helmet, rode his red and black Aprilia against the wind. As he pulled up to the school gate, he thought with frustration, I simply can't control myself. He felt ridiculous himself. He had even dutifully put on his school uniform and washed his hair before leaving home. When Su Yang reached the school, the gates of No 1 High were still closed. He initially thought about climbing the wall, but then reconsidered. Forget it. Why climb? Students should enter through the main gate. He kicked the school gate locked with a large iron padlock and chain. The chain rattled noisily. Hearing the commotion, the security guard was terrified. Thinking some lunatic had come to rob the place before sunrise, taking advantage of him being alone. The guard hurriedly got dressed and came out to look. Heaven knows how surprised he was when he saw it was Su Yang standing outside the gate. What does this young master of the Su family want to do now? I'm just a lowly security guard. I can't resist powerful influence. The guard in front of him was still spacing out, showing no intention of opening the gate. Su Yang was getting impatient. He kicked the gate again. The rattling chain startled the guard, who hurriedly unlocked it. Su Yang merely gave a casual nod and strode towards the classroom. Inside the classroom, he didn't turn on the lights. He just sat at his desk, holding the pink lunchbox Yu-He had used for the eggs yesterday. He had washed it many times. At home, whenever he had nothing to do, he'd wash it again. It was spotless, even reflective enough to see his face in. Su Yang let out a sigh. I really, truly think I'm sick. He sat like that until 7 in the morning. In early March, the morning wind was still cold. Su Yang pulled his clothes tighter. Damn, it's really fucking cold. I should still be in bed sleeping right now. But what if he brings me breakfast again today? He knew she looked down on someone like him from the bottom of her heart. But what could he do? He simply couldn't control wanting to be near her. If she gave him even the slightest bit of sweetness, all his principles would crumble. When Yuhi placed the lunchbox and thermos she was carrying on Su Yang's desk and opened them for him, Su Yang stared at the hands that opened the lids for him. They were so fair and tender, so beautiful. Looking at them made his throat feel tight. Yuhi walked to the classroom door with her backpack, then turned back to tell him her name was Yuhi, Yu as in feather, he as in seedling. She said it so seriously. But how could he not know her name? On countless nights, he had unconsciously repeated her name. The two characters Yuhi had long been carved into his bones. When she drank the water he had poured from the cup in front of so many people, he knew he was done for. All his armor was shattered to pieces. What should I do? I still like her so much. I really, really like her. She didn't find him repulsive. When Chen-Shi appeared before him again, he was dazed for a long time. Her very existence reminded him of what had happened before, that Yuhi had rejected him. This was something he couldn't ignore. In their first year of high school, he gave Chen-Shi the first love letter he had ever written, several pages long, and told her she had to deliver it to Yuhi. He thought at the time that writing love letters was such a stupid thing. He would absolutely never do it a second time. He didn't expect Yuhi to agree to be with him immediately. He had some self-awareness. He knew how far apart they were. He just wanted to get to know her first, to let her know he existed. But what he waited for was a bucket of cold water poured over his head, making him feel that the nervousness he'd felt all night was a fucking joke. He had belittled him as worthless. He hadn't realized he was that bad. And Chen-Shi had conveyed, word for word, exactly what Yuhi had said about him. God knows how angry he was when he heard her say that he thought even looking at him once was dirty. He almost couldn't suppress exposing his true nature. But then he also felt he was right. How could someone like him deserve to live in this world? If he thought that, his mother probably did too. Maybe even in her last moments before dying, she was cursing him. They all thought that way. He thought, he is so pure. I shouldn't go and dirty her eyes. But a young man's love is so intense. He couldn't stop his desire to be near her. Repeating her name in the dead of night, he even felt filthy himself. It's a good thing he doesn't know. She was the only light he craved in this world. He wanted to have her. He wanted it very, very much. He would never forget the day of the heavy rain. That downpour only happened that one day, the day she actively reached out her hand to him. He thought he probably would never forget the pity in Chen-Shi's eyes after she relayed his thoughts to him. Who the hell needs her pity? She didn't know that every time he stole a glance at Yuhi, he was seriously trying to restrain his feelings for her. When everyone told him there was no future in it, he covered his ears and loved her anyway. The process of obtaining a rose will inevitably prick your hand. But the rose is so beautiful. As long as the rose is willing, it doesn't matter if it pricks his hand. He wouldn't let go. This time, he had already taken many steps back. It was he who stepped forward herself. If he retreated again, he would regret it for the rest of his life. He wouldn't retreat anymore. Side story. Su Yang, previous life. Actually, no matter how many times life repeats, I feel fortunate that we were able to meet again. Though perhaps it was a one-sided reunion, and you didn't know it was me. I found my temper growing worse and worse. The company was getting bigger. Su Corporation's future looked brighter, but I became more and more irritable. It seemed like everyone in the company was afraid of me. Even the old fossils were wary. But I didn't feel satisfied. I knew the source of all these emotions was because I felt you could unsee the person I had become. I just wanted you to know that I was capable now. Perhaps the gap between us wasn't so vast anymore, and I wasn't as bad as you might have thought. It's laughable to say. I'm clearly not a persistent person. I don't think of myself as loyal or constant in affection. I lose interest in things quickly. But I actually liked you for so long. So long that after all these years, I was the only one struggling in my memories. You were too wonderful. I couldn't control my liking for you. The urge to pull you into my darkness was so strong. You have no idea, it was almost overflowing. But my stubborn self refused to admit it, as if trying to preserve the last shred of my dignity. Many people said I had a hard life. Those who loved me died, yet I still didn't die. They wanted me dead so badly, to divide the money and power in my hands. But what was mine remained mine. They had no choice but to continue swallowing their pride and flattering me with their shameless old faces. I had no women by my side. They thought they could find an opening through this to get to me. So they found all sorts of what they considered seductive sirens to tempt me. But no matter how little they wore, I remained utterly unmoved. They all whispered behind my back that I was frigid. How could I be frigid? Back in my youth, just seeing your exposed ankles or wrists, you didn't have to do anything. Just looking at you gave me a physical reaction. At the time I thought, how can you be so fair? So slender and white? I'd be afraid of breaking you if I used even a little force. So I'm not frigid. If they could have brought you to me, I would have absolutely fulfilled their expectations. But none of them were you. They were still fighting me, but they couldn't win. They thought that because I wasn't afraid of death, I had no weaknesses. But actually, I cherished my life very much. Because you were one of the few things I yearned for in this world. If you wanted it, I could give you my life. I had a lot on my plate, a bit too busy. So I planned to hire a special assistant. But I didn't pay much attention to the matter, handing it over to Song Jae-yu to handle. I told him I needed someone capable. I only wanted a capable assistant. I didn't keep useless people. I never imagined you would come to apply. Why would you want to be my assistant? You were so outstanding. So when we met, I was unprepared, and I wasn't satisfied. It wasn't my best state. I hadn't had time to properly tidy myself up before you appeared. To be honest, I was flustered. This made me more nervous than signing billion-dollar projects. I wanted to meet you with my best self. But your appearance was too sudden. Just like when you first occupied my heart, catching me off guard. My temper was terrible that day. I had just gotten very angry with my subordinates, and was thoroughly annoyed when you were ushered in. I didn't know it was you. I thought it was some clueless employee disturbing me while I was working, thinking they had a death wish. The anger I had just suppressed flared up again. But when I looked up and saw you, you have no idea. I almost failed to rein in my furious expression. But surprise flooded my mind. I even thought I was dreaming. I heard you greet me. You said your name was Yuhi, the newly hired assistant, my special assistant. My heart suddenly pounded, beating fast, thump after thump, as if a heart that had been dead for a long time suddenly came back to life, instantly full of vitality. In that moment, I was absolutely certain. I still liked you. I had always wanted to have you, Yuhi, but I also knew I was selfish and cruel. I didn't deserve someone as kind as you, because I wouldn't feel sympathy or be moved by anyone else's misfortune. That's how I climbed to where I was. Only the weak need others' sympathy. No one taught me kindness, but if you liked it, I was willing to learn. On one hand, I wanted to treat you well, to lay everything I had before you. On the other hand, I was afraid you wouldn't care at all about anything of mine. That damn pride of mine made me, a coward, hide my desires deep inside. You must have thought I was very conflicted. I thought so too. So conflicted I didn't know what to do. So, every night, I would regret why I had said something a certain way that day, when there were gentler ways to express it. I regretted why my tone when speaking to you was like that when I didn't have to be harsh. I felt I wasn't good to you at all. After we finally met again, I still treated you like that. I hoped you would lose your temper with me, but you never complained, never got angry, as if you didn't care. And your indifference made me extremely angry. So I wasn't good to you. Back then, I thought we had plenty of time. I would keep pestering you, absolutely never letting go. So I didn't properly learn how to love someone, how to express my affection to a girl. But I knew I loved you. Loving you was greater than my own life. But before you, I think I would probably always feel inferior. I loved you with inferiority, yet didn't dare let you know. When the earthquake came for the first time, I doubted if heaven truly disliked me. It always seemed to want to drive my life into a corner. My mind was filled with one thought. You absolutely cannot come to harm. But fortunately, I ran fast and shielded you with my body. This time, I was satisfied. I felt I had protected you well. Only when I clearly knew I might die did regret come surging in. What should I do? I haven't told you yet. Su Yang loves you, he loves her so much, this secret. You still didn't know that I met you back in second year of middle school. In my teens, I swore I would have you. In the ruins, I clearly felt my life fading. Panicked, I looked at your face. Thank goodness. The body in my arms is still warm. Not cold at all. I wanted to gently trace your brows and eyes, stroke your hair, memorize every detail about you inch by inch. I even wanted to fuse you into my bones and blood, so I couldn't forget you. I didn't want to forget you. But when I raised my hand and saw it covered in my own blood, I silently put it down. I felt ashamed. It was stained with blood and grime. How could it touch your face? I knew you loved cleanliness. I had always looked down on crying men. I thought tears were just an excuse for weakness, that crying solved nothing. But in my final moments holding you tightly, I cried so sorrowfully. I allowed myself that weakness. Not telling you my story, I really felt so regretful. In the end, it remained my one-sided secret love. In every day and night I missed you, I was filled with solitary courage. But then I thought, it's better you don't know. In the days to come, you can live well. I don't want you to feel even a bit of guilt. A life without a scoundrel like me would be much better for you. At least no one would bully you for no reason anymore. I think I was just a bit unwilling. This earthquake came fiercely and violently. The news spreading throughout City A, everyone mourned and prayed for the victims. He was one of them. She mourned for her direct superior, Su Yang, the man who had saved her life. How would people later speak of the chairman of Su Corporation dying in the earthquake? They said when he was found, he was holding an unconscious girl in his arms. They said he protected that girl very well, because even under such ruins, her clothes were still clean, her cheeks still fair. They said he must have loved that girl very much, because when medical personnel tried to pry his hands away to carry the girl out, they found the already dead man still holding her tightly. They said those unwilling to let go hands were telling of his unwillingness and his treasuring of this girl. He had hoped she would love him, yet feared she couldn't bear the depth of his feelings. In those sunless days he had used the solitary courage of his love to sustain his own life. And all of this, Yui never knew.